Hello, gorgeous, and welcome to the Women on Top podcast. I'm your host, Valerie Lynn, and with over 15 years of business experience, I became truly passionate about finding ways to support and hear from way more women. And what we know to be true is that women thrive when they are in their favorite position, on top. On top in business, in relationships, in personal growth, and on top in being real and authentic to who the hell they are. So I invite you to sit back and enjoy the Women on Top podcast. Welcome back to the Women on Top, everybody. Today on the show, we have Mandy Schell. And Mandy is the founder of the Pacific Northwest Women's Network, which is a bold community where ambitious women in the Pacific Northwest get to come together to really grow and connect and elevate their impact, but doing so collectively. Through these live events and pop-ups and a year-round digital network, which is so huge, Mandy's really empowering women to lead with confidence, collaboration, and just have this amazing sense of community. So welcome to the show today, Mandy. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Valerie. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I know that you started this, I think, so I'd love to have you tell it, but where you attended an event in Arizona and it shifted the game for you. And so I'd love to know, was there kind of an exact moment that you had coming back from that where you're like, I am just not coming back the same? And what was going through your mind at that time?
Sure. So I'll go back a little even further. We all, went through COVID and all of that. My father passed away due to COVID
Oh my
and
gosh.
right at the end of 2020. And so I kind of really just had this wake up about like how short life is and not just to keep doing the same old, right?
Yeah.
It's about just saying really the phrase that came into my mind after that was just saying yes more. What was I so scared of? I had worked in state government for my whole life. And I was just like, I just feel like there's something more out there.
Yeah.
So 2022 comes around and I've got this mindset of like, I'm just going to say yes to more things. And what does that look like? And, on my scrolling Instagram one day and this women's conference comes up that's happening in Arizona and never gone to anything like that. But, I just had that craving. And I was like, yes, I'm going to go. I didn't know anyone going, never been to this event before, but I was like, I'm just going to say yes. So that was in the spring of 22 and this event was happening in the fall of 2022. And so after I bought the ticket, I just could feel this like excitement about going to learn something, to better myself. And I was just like, man, this feels so good. And I got to thinking, like, obviously, like, who doesn't love a trip? Like, please, yes, let me leave the Pacific Northwest, go to Arizona. We all love a good trip, but I was kind of thinking about the logistics. I'm like, oh, I got to make sure the kids are all organized and my husband knows the dates, and you're getting the airfare and the hotel and all of that. And, fortunately, I was in a position I could just do that. Not everyone has that. And I was kind of thinking of the excuses that we tend to make as women to not invest in ourselves. Oh, I'm going to have to leave the kids. Oh, I'm going to have to take days off of work.
Yeah.
Oh, and you think of all these reasons not to do it. And so it was really leading up to that event that I started thinking, and I have, several friends that are entrepreneurs, women in business. And I was like, man, why isn't there anything just right here in our own backyard? Like, again, I love to take a good trip, but like, wouldn't it be great if I could invest in myself, also be home that evening with my family and it not be this whole other stressful thing to plan?
Yeah.
And so that's what really got me thinking about, creating a community. So I kind of went in with that mindset as I went to that event. And I did. It was so funny that you said that as you asked the question. On the end of the day of the event, she said, turn to the person next to you and, say, what your goal is or whatever. And I turned to this complete stranger and I was just like, I will not come back to this event the same woman next year. And I left that event. I launched an Instagram. I launched a website. And this is all in August of 2022. And I was like, in my naivety, I
Wow.
was like, I'm going to throw a women's conference in January of 2023. And I've never done anything like that. I'm like, well, I've thrown kids' birthday parties. I'm like, how hard could it be? Right. And I think that's what made it successful was because I was just like, everything's figure outable. And I just started like talking to people about it, sharing the Instagram with everybody, and I kind of created these little pop-up events to talk about the conference. I kind of called it my own Taylor Swift tour. Like I went around to all these different, cities here from everywhere from if you're familiar with the Pacific Northwest and Washington, I went everywhere from Olympia all the way up to like Seattle, Bellevue. I just like went up and down I to all these different cities and I would just have like little happy hours to tell them about the conference.
Wow.
And so yeah, so that's kind of how it all came to be.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So a couple of things. I'm
Yeah.
curious, when you go to an event and you don't know anyone, at least this is for me. I
Yeah.
always have this fear and this nervousness around like, do I even want to do this? And how is this going to go? So, did you have that going into this, given that this was your first time going into it?
Did. Obviously, I even get nervous sometimes going to my own events. I'm like, "Oh my god, is anyone gonna come? No one's gonna come. No
Yeah.
one likes me." Right? Like we tell ourselves that even though then like 50 people show up. So I definitely had that, but I just had this like again, that feeling inside of me like I need to do this. I need to try because not trying and saying no and staying where it felt safe felt like just miserable, right? It did
Yeah.
not feel good. So this almost felt less scary, like doing something unknown than just staying and doing what I'd been doing on repeat for my whole life, right?
Totally.
So that really gave me that confidence. And I think, seeing the promotional videos for this event and all of that and um how friendly everyone looked, I was just like, no one's going to be mean to me.
Yeah.
No one's going to not talk to me. So I just think I just had this really like, I'm skipping to school and like, it's going to be fun. I think I just kind of went in with the right attitude. Yes, at first, when you walk into the room, it was definitely very overwhelming. But like the minute I was walking up to tables, people were like chatting and talking, and
Yeah.
it was just really inviting. And so I've made sure to really replicate that at my own events, and I feel like when you perform a certain way or not perform, but you act a certain way, you draw those same type of
Yeah.
people. And so I think given that I try to be, friendly and welcoming to everyone, those type of people are gravitating to my events as well. So,
Yeah. I love
yeah.
that you took elements of what you loved and made sure that you incorporated it in
Mhm.
your own events. I
Yeah.
also feel like there must be something because I've heard of a lot of women who like want to start events, even myself, who are like, oh,
Yeah.
that sounds great. And then you don't ever do anything about it. And I'm wondering, like, what was it? Because something must have really deeply resonated with you where you're like, I have to do this. So, what was it for you that you were like, gosh, this means so much to me. I am going to go do it. And that's just how it is.
I think it was the first time in a long time, going to that event that I left and I just felt that feeling that like anything was possible. And I love a good challenge, whether that's been like physically with fitness. I did CrossFit for a couple of years. Like I loved a good,
Yeah.
challenge. So this was almost like this new like mental like growth challenge for me and emotionally. I was just like, oh yeah, okay, I can do this. This is just like what's the craziest thing? A Spartan race? Okay, I've done those. Right. Now I'm gonna throw a conference for, 100 plus women to come to. So it was just kind of like that mentality, like just doing something that really challenged me. And the only person I wanted to prove anything to was myself.
Mm.
And so I was just like, I'm doing things that I've never done before and I haven't died. Right. So none of it, right. I'm living, I'm surviving just fine. So I think that was kind of it for me.
What is, the most, not most, but some of the more rewarding things or memorable things that have stuck with you from doing these events now that you're here?
Oh man, it's when the women that attend my events come up to me and they are like, "Oh my gosh, I almost didn't come. And I am
Yeah.
so glad I came today because I met, these people and now we're going to go um do this, go meet for, dinner or we're going to work on this together for our businesses." or they've come and they're just like, this was exactly what I needed today and I didn't even know it. And sometimes, you hear these things, and as women, we can have a really hard time receiving, like,
Yeah.
because I'm always like, "Well, who are they talking to? Or who are they talking, who did this for
Yeah.
them?" And it's me. But that's probably the most rewarding thing. And it's like, and I don't hear that every time, but the times that I do hear it, it is just such a huge thing to hear that something I created, that I've just been like, "Oh, it's no big deal," has had such a huge impact on someone's life, even if it was just one person. Like, I had a woman attend the very first event that I did in January 2023, and she worked for somebody else, and she attended my conference, and she left that conference. She quit her job working for somebody else, and she opened her own business because of what she, like, learned, and, like, the empowerment and confidence that she got from
Oh
attending
my
my conference. And,
gosh.
like, that to me is just, like, a huge testament of what the value you can get by going to these types of rooms, and it
Yeah.
can change the whole trajectory of your career in the best way.
Yeah. Wow, what a gift to
Mhm.
get to witness that. And it's like it's about you, but it's also so much about the people that
Yeah.
are brought into the room. And there is just a magic about people being in person and that connection that
Mhm.
happens at these events. What is that? Like, what? I feel like there's something different that's undescribable.
As women, we love, like, we just feed off of it, and when you get women that are excited and this energy, we just love it. It's just contagious, and and I think, um, given that I launched, started getting the word out in 2022, here we are just coming post of everyone being, inside all the time, and
Yeah.
people were really craving that connection in a way they hadn't realized they were missing it before. And so I think I was just able to really, harness that and, bring it to light. Now, I mean, yeah, women just love getting together and collaborating. Like, that's what I have found. Like, I mean, at least the right women. I'm sure there's,
Yeah.
some that have a hard time with it, but like, I'm just the women. If that is on your heart and you love it, come be in our room. And I've really changed. It's still in my name, like Pacific Northwest Women's Network, but I've really this year, my word has been not network, but it's been proximity. I don't want you to come to my events and network. I don't like that. I really look at it as I'm creating this ecosystem, right? And I'm getting you in proximity with the women that you need in your life, personally, professionally, whatever that is. But I am just like, I don't want to see you exchanging business cards. I want to see you looking in each other's eyes and having a conversation and be like, what is lighting you up right now? And so that's really been what I've been steering more towards this year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. And I love that word. I was curious where you were going with that, but then I'm like, oh, proximity, that is what I'm craving. That's what other women are craving. And I think we're
Mhm.
burned out on this whole idea of like networking at these
Yeah.
events and to go and to exchange and tell people what you do
Mhm.
and your elevator pitch right away. And you're just like, oh my
No.
gosh.
In fact, I have these little events and I put some cards around to try to like change people's mindset. And I'm like, these are the type of questions that you should be asking. And so that's really been helpful to just get people to reframe it and think differently.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it is that proximity. It is being around somebody else who either is just going to elevate you and kind of pump you up, or they know somebody that can maybe help you or whatever. And that is built on relationships, which I feel like
Right.
is kind of everything that you've done. Looking back now, you kind of explained the strategy of how you first went about your very first event where you like traveling up and down Washington
Yes.
or Seattle area and
Yeah.
talking to people. What are some of the other steps that you took? And now that you are where you are, is there anything that you would do differently knowing what you know?
One, I don't think I would do anything differently because I loved the whole learning process and like what worked and what didn't work. Because, like I said, I'd worked in state government my whole life. And I'd kind of looked at this as like, man, maybe I want to get out of state government and do something for myself. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I have no idea what that would be.
Yeah.
I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs or anything
Yeah.
like that. So I had, that was just a whole new concept. So I wanted to meet women and be like, well, what do you do? Well, maybe that would be something interesting to me. And through this whole process of learning more and building this, I just realized I just created an entrepreneurship business for myself. And that wasn't even what I was trying to do, but I did. And so I don't know that I would change I don't. I loved the whole thing. Some of the things that I learned right off the bat, and I just think it's just kind of just who I am. I really worked right away on building relationships with these people. Um, so, I said I had these little pop-up events to tell people about, but I also hand wrote cards and I bought bouquets of flowers and I took them to business owners that I didn't know. Some knew and a little bit, but like I would just drive by a business. I'm like, oh, that looks like a really cute business. And I would write them a card and I
Oh,
would take
God.
them flowers. And so that is something that I did the first and the second year. And I think that was probably one of the biggest investments I made as far as relationally, like, right,
Yeah.
um it didn't cost a lot, but like the reaction that people got from getting a handwritten card and just a simple bouquet of flowers, like, and just saying, hey, I see your business and I love this and I just want to personally invite you. I mean, you remember being a kid in elementary school and like
Yeah.
getting that invitation to the birthday party, and it was so exciting to see with the card. And that was almost like, and again, I didn't think, I just thought, well, what would I like? Like, what would be something like that? And so I just kept doing the things that I liked. Like, I wish someone would give me a card and flowers. And so I just kind of did for others what I wanted myself. And it was a huge success.
Oh, that's amazing. So you would go in person and deliver these?
Yeah. In fact,
Oh my
like one
gosh.
time, one of my first, I must have been like maybe my second or third business going to. And this was one where I didn't know them at all. No, I mean, all I knew was their names off of Instagram, and it was like a real estate office. And I walked in, and the two women and then this one man, they were like having a meeting, like right there in front. And I remember I was like so flustered and embarrassed, and I was just like, "Hi, I just wanted to drop this card and flowers off. Come to my event." I think I essentially kind of just like threw the bouquet, and then I like left, right? And I'm like, "Oh, they're not gonna come." Like, because that was the most awkward interaction ever. So, I mean, there's definitely comical things about it. I was not perfect and graceful at everyone. Like, my definitely inner awkwardness would come out a little bit. And they did not come to the event the first year. But one of the ladies did come the second year. But it was kind of like, it still paid off, but I'll never forget how awkward I was at that. That was my very first like cold entrance. And
Yeah.
I was really bad.
Yeah. It's always those humbling moments where you look back and you're like, but that's still shaped a piece of it, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
now to look back and I'm like, "Was it that scary? Were they mean to you?" No, they weren't, so
yeah, but it really does show that it pays off to, like you said, to pay attention to like what would I really like, and then to take the extra time and the effort to make sure you build those relationships and just do some of those things that not, people want, but they don't get very often. So
Right,
I love that idea.
thank you. Yeah, and I just liked, again, it's just speaking to what this community I was trying to do, and it was, like, to build those personal relationships. I didn't want Sure, I was sending people DMs and
Yeah,
all, but that was kinda, like, secondary. As a follow-up, I really made an effort, boots on the ground and like in person, because if that's what I'm trying to quote unquote sell, right, is an in person, like getting in the room, being with
right.
people, then I have to like walk the walk, right?
Right.
And that I'm doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many people was your first event? Like how many people showed up?
100 it came.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
huge. And was that from your contacts? So that was mostly from all these people that you were meeting that they just showed up?
Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
that was not just my personal contacts.
Oh
Like,
my
I would say
gosh.
probably like 30 to 40 of the women I had like personal relationships with, I knew over the years, but the rest, I mean, so many of them, complete
Wow.
strangers.
That's amazing success. Did you just feel like did you expect that first of all?
No, I didn't know what to expect, and so I had no idea. I just kept telling myself, like, I'm like, "This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be amazing." And then, like, that room was full. We had, 4 or 5 keynote speakers and a panel, and all my speakers were just, like, women I knew, and I'm like, "Oh, you are a really good person to speak on this topic," you know?
Yeah.
And then year 2, I sold out at 250 women.
Oh
And
my
then,
gosh.
yeah, year 3, I kept it at the same venue, and that was the capacity was 250, so we sold out again.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so it's just been growing every year, and it's just been I'm still mind blown, like, I'm always like, "Oh, man, are people gonna come?"
Yeah.
And then they do. They do. They show up.
I was going to say, so, for people who are interested in planning events or for women right now, yeah, that are in the process of that and having that mindset of like, oh my gosh, I want to put together this retreat or this event or conference and scared that nobody's going to come. What would you say to them?
It doesn't matter. It's someone will come, first of all. Someone will come. And whether it's 5 women that you get into that room or it's 100 plus women that you get into that room, you'll have an impact. You've done what you've said you're going to do. And you will learn something just as much as they will. And do it. Do it scared, do it messy. Like, I had no business plan. I was just like, I'm just gonna like do this thing. I'm just like a bobblehead. And I'm like, so yeah, so do it scared, do it messy, do it not knowing. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to have everything figured out. I mean, probably going blind is best because you're just you're not like all worried because you have no idea what you're supposed to be doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, so because making an impact in one person's life is just as valuable as making an impact in 100 people. So I'm just like, just do it, just try.
Yeah, I love that. Were you ever focused on making a profit from the event? Sometimes I've heard that events just aren't there to like make you any money, that kind of thing. And so I'm
No.
curious.
So I am super transparent about this, about the money that we make from the event, what it costs to put on the event. I consider it a huge success that, yes, my event from day one made money. I didn't have to put in money of my own, right? I got sponsors, I got, the ticket sales, everything paid for itself. By no means was I retiring from my day job. I still work my day job, right? But the event pays for itself. It is not, you know, when I look at other people that throw really big events, I notice that there's always something that they're selling with it. They're doing some sort of offer, whether it's a
Yep.
course or something like that. That's where they make their money. They are not making money off of the event. And I try to keep my ticket prices really reasonable so that more people can say yes, right? I look at some of these conferences and I'm like, oh dang, they're charging 600-700+ dollars a
Yeah.
ticket. And I understand why. I mean, I get their obviously they can then pay for bigger stages and all of that. It's about making relationships, figuring out ways to trade with people. But no, I mean, was I able to pay myself something? Yes, but it was I think that very first event, by the time I paid everyone out and did all that, I think I made like $2,500.
Yeah. I think that's almost even more powerful that you want to continue to do this, not
Yeah,
because
not
of
because.
the profit. Yeah.
I'm not even, like, taking my family on a vacation, like, essentially, like, I give myself a little reward, I'm like, "Oh, let's go shopping today," but then the rest is going right back into the business because you have to have money in there to start putting down payments before you start selling tickets. So it just stays it's just part of the business,
Yeah.
and it just but yeah, and obviously each year I've made a little bit more, which is great, but it is nothing. I am not making tens of thousands of dollars by any means. But again, I'm not selling an offer or doing anything like that. I, and one of the things is like, I don't speak at my own event.
Really?
I don't. I am the host.
Yeah.
I love that I've created a stage to highlight amazing women
I love
and
that.
what their expertise are. I just know how to create a room. That's my expertise and that's what I do. And I get up there. I am the worst. I'm the worst host and MC. Luckily I have a business partner. She's a really good MC. Like, I get up there, I fumble on my iPhone and I like try to say the right things, but I don't love being on stage. And I am not there to speak at all. Like, I love creating this stage in women. I find these women and I'm like, oh, you are so amazing at what you speak on and do. I would love for you to come pour into these women. And that's what I love. I love creating the room for them to be able to do that. And this is by no means to highlight myself.
Yeah. That's actually really good to hear because I have often thought like I've tried speaking and I can do that, but it's not, I don't have to be in the spotlight. I actually
Mm-mm.
love being the obviously like the host and asking people questions and interviewing. And so it's great to hear about like such a successful event. And so I think this applies to listeners as well that you don't have to be like a world class keynote speaker. Like
Speaker.
great if you are, but also
Yeah, that's on your heart, that's what you wanna do, great,
yeah,
but, like, no, so yeah, so my event, I'm not selling an offer, I'm not doing anything more to make money off that event. Now, my speakers will have things that they, "Hey, you wanna work with me?" or this and that. Great, I want them this is what I'm doing, I want
right.
them to promote their business, this is what they are good at.
Yeah.
But my business as, the PNW Women's Network, I am not like selling anything more than just like, this is the room you need to be in to better yourself and make investments where you feel that's right. Like, yeah.
Yeah. What is your dream with this company then? Because I know you're a big dreamer. I feel like you got big things you want to do.
Valerie, sometimes the dream is just get the next event put
Yeah.
on, right? Like survive the next event. And I think my dream is just that it continues to create these types of relationships that these women need, and that it continues to educate them in ways that they become better humans, better moms, partners, friends, whatever that is. That's just really my dream. And that I continue to have the passion to want to do that, right? We all eventually sometimes things change and you're like, "You know what? This chapter is closed." And I don't know how long this I will want to be putting on events, but I have found a group of women that helped me put on this event. And because the first couple years I did it myself and that I died. That's just don't do that. Find a good team. And now it's like exciting again. And so I'm really enjoying it. But, I'm also a mom to 5 kids and life is crazy.
Hi.
And so right now my dream is just like that this continues to bring me joy and happiness and love, that I love doing for it and until I feel like it's no longer what I need to be doing. But right now it still feels right. So,
Yeah, that's a really beautiful. I feel like the way that you're leading is just so genuine, which is also why I think I was attracted to your event. Like there's so many events that happen, but I feel like yours just really, I mean, I'm tied to the area too, but
yeah.
it felt like it was more of a heart led, like
Mhm.
truly just want women to get together and to bring out the best in each other, which I think is also what seems to be part of the magic there.
Yeah. And we also always love a good reason to like dress up and wear something that we wouldn't always get to
Yes.
chance to wear. Like we definitely make our event an event. Like we're like, you wear the outfit that you've never worn or that you
Oh,
saw at the rack and you're like, where would I wear this to? You wear it to our event. Like we try to like, just make it like a really fun, like girly girls day and just like, yeah,
I
feel
love
your
that.
best self. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
And
exciting.
I say that as I'm in my sweatshirt hoodie and like, oh, but I'm like, there's room for both.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was gonna say. Is like that's the gift that we get given
Yeah.
on as being a woman as well. Like you get to wear all the things.
Um,
And it's great to have spaces though where we do get to dress up because that is a little less common. I feel like especially in COVID, but even before that, women have always loved to get a little glam and
yeah.
hang out with their girlfriends and
Well, I
just
find here in the PNW, it's not as like, because I originally grew up in like Oklahoma. I went to college in Texas, and let me tell you about getting like dolled and fixed up, right? Like that down there, it's a whole different ball game. And up here in the PNW, it's this kind of thing that I feel like it's women are just now like, oh yeah, I can dress up.
Yeah, that's really neat too that you found such a niche because it really is a niche in that marketplace. I'm wondering, have you had any, like, I'm sure now that you've done this a few times, you've had challenges that have cropped up that you were not expecting. What were some of those? Because I know event planning can be wild.
Yeah, and so here's a challenge that we've had this year. I've, had lots of success years 1 through 3 with getting sponsorships from some bigger names and all of that. And this year's roadblock has been the fact that we are not a nonprofit. So bigger corporations are like, "Oh, you're not a 501(c)(3, we can't donate to you." So I'm
Oh,
finding that to being a really interesting challenge as these corporations, right, bigger names, are not able to donate in kind or sponsor because of whatever their profits and their revenue. They're now only cutting it off, and you have to be a 501(c)(3).
wow. Interesting.
And I mean, this is year 4. That's never happened the first 3 years, and now that's my roadblock this year. So, I'm looking into what that looks like for us, and that model, that business model. But yeah, I mean, that's not something I had considered previously, and year 4 is presenting that to me, and so
Yeah.
that's been this year's challenge.
Interesting. I wonder if that has to do with taxes and write-offs for them, probably.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I've gone if you go now and you start looking, if you go to some bigger websites or whatever, I mean, just even just regular brands that you know of, and you start looking, you'll see where they're like, we no longer are doing donations only to 501(c)(3s and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's been, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
interesting.
hmm
I wonder if there's benefit to switching, but there's a whole different thing about that. So,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, in my live event itself would be considered something that falls into the nonprofit criteria because it's educational, it's benefiting the community, blah, blah. So I meet all the criteria. It's just kind of like, okay, now you have to like switch everything over. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Have you found a strategy that works well with getting sponsors? I know that that's a big thing for events and just for
Yes.
podcasts and different things. So, what has been your golden ticket?
Well, like I was saying
Flowers?
earlier,
Yeah.
supposed to be cards and flowers, right?
Yeah.
But obviously I can't, write cards and flowers to like bigger businesses and banks and this
Yeah.
and that. My strategy has really been to write, a genuine email telling them, about the history of the event, why I'm doing it, telling them about the type of women that are going to be in the room and that their brand will be exposed to. Because at the end of the day, when you're asking someone for money or product, you need to tell them what is in it for them. Why in the hell should they be giving me 150 items, for free?
Right.
Or money, like what is going to be their visibility? So it's really getting clear on what I'm going to do for them to get their name and their contribution and all of that out there. And that's been the key is explaining that. I've definitely had my fair share. I hop on Zoom calls or whatever with their contact so that they can see my face and they can learn more about me. That's been really beneficial. But let me tell you, for every 100 emails I send out, I get one or two like, "We'll talk to you." So yeah. So it's definitely a lot of hours researching and, to only make a couple $1,000 in profit. So I get
Yeah.
paid like 30 cents an hour.
You do it because you love it.
Yeah, I do because it's fun. It's a challenge. I'm like, "Oh, you're not answering me? Let me write you."
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just something new and outside. I always want to do something that's stretching me in a new way. And getting getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And let me tell you, writing hundreds of emails to people you don't know and never hearing back, like I can take rejection like no other. I'm like, cool, they don't want to, they don't want to talk to me. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever had things actually go sideways during an event, and how did you handle that?
Oh man. I'm sure. Oh, yeah. Like last year, we somehow ran out of food. And
Oh,
I'm like, explain to me. But I didn't know. So, like, we had ordered food for everyone, right? We knew exactly who was coming. So we had, 250 sandwiches. And then, like, I also knew 30 and it always happens, like, people don't show up. I'm like, "You bought a ticket
yeah.
for a few $100 and you don't show up?" So, but I'm like, "Okay." So I had, like, 30-ish people not show up, but apparently somehow we ran out of food and the, um, like, event coordinator lady that was there, she went and ordered and had another like 40 sandwiches made. So I'm like, so technically we were, and then all those got like taken. So I'm like, technically we were 70 short. But I'm like, but how? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand because there wasn't that many extra people, like,
Yeah.
so those are always like weird, like where something went sideways, you had to order more food in the middle of it, but I didn't know till the end and it had already happened.
Yeah.
So then that gets tacked onto your bill, and you're
Right.
like, cool, like, okay, that was another $1,000 in food, we didn't know about. So, I mean, yeah, that's something going sideways. Definitely year 1, I had a speaker, and here's another kind of lesson learned. Year 1, I kind of like talked to them like what I wanted them to talk about, but not a lot of prep or like interaction about that. And then I had a speaker get up there and she just went rogue. Like she just like went off on this whole other topic and I was like, that was not what we talked about. And then so you're like cringing in the back because you're like, oh, but I don't know how we come back from this. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and I definitely had a sponsor one time. She was just being really catty, and not nice to other people. And I never invited her back.
Yeah.
So there's like little things like that kind of take you sideways. Now year 4, I am not so hands-on the day of. I have volunteers and I'm like, I tell my sponsors, if you have any questions, you talk to this person. I tell my vendors like why they're setting up. Like if you have questions, you talk to this person. So year 4, I've really learned to rely on other people and not do everything myself. And so that's been really good.
Yeah, that's a big power move too,
Mhm.
is having
Yeah.
a team that can support you where you can say, for this, you go to this person.
Mhm.
Was it hard to attract volunteers or people to help you with these events?
Well, yes and no. I will say there was a handful of people and they come and they volunteer, and they love it because they get to come be a part of the event and they just really like it. Um, and then there was other times where I'm like literally like, please, I need one more volunteer. I need one, and no one kind of really wanted to do it. But it is a lot to ask of people. You're saying, come hang out with us for 10 hours today, not get paid, be on your feet, and
Right.
then get bossed around.
Yeah.
In a sense, I need you to work. I need
Yeah.
you to work, but when they're not working, they get to attend the conference. They get to listen to these amazing speakers because when the speakers are on stage, there's not a lot of work that needs to be done.
Right.
Obviously, there's event staff that's really there doing like the food serving and all of that. So it's like a lot of work in the morning and a little bit of work like after the end of the event. But for the most of the day, they get to enjoy it just like if they were an attendee.
Mhm.
Um, so it's gotten easier each year to attract volunteers. And obviously each year the number grows that I need.
Yeah.
But year 1 and probably year 2 was like my hardest getting volunteers. And now it's not so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that they get to be part of the event too. That's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
how
Oh,
they're
yeah, and
wired.
we, like, get them cool T-shirts or,
Yeah.
this and that, like, the first year I went all out, and they all had, like, special glitter shirts with their names on them because I only had, like, 5, like, volunteers, like,
Yeah.
now it's not as swaggy, but, we do what we can.
Yeah. You also offer other services as part of
Yeah.
becoming part of this network. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, everyone kind of tends to have like membership models in a sense. And I was like, well, what does that look like for me? I didn't even have that year 1. I didn't launch the membership until after the first event. And this year I when I held live 2025, I introduced a new membership model. I completely scrapped, and I had a membership that had like at that time like 60 or 70 women, and I just like deleted it. I'm like, hey, I'm closing this the way that this framework works, and all of that. I'm closing that down
Wow.
because it was really dependent on me
Mm.
to do everything for it, and I just did not. I didn't care for that.
Yeah.
So that did not work for me. So I launched a new membership model, um, and it is growing slowly, but I kind of like that better. So if you're familiar with the Circle platform,
Mm.
I really like it because I launched it and it is really dependent on the community members how much they want it to serve them. I have a video library that I had done before because I used to do like monthly calls and trainings that where people would come and speak. So I like have a whole video library from that old membership that is uploaded in there so they can watch and learn these. And then there's message boards, right? And there's like a walk and talk board, and the community members can be like, hey, I'm going to be in Tacoma on Friday at 11 for anyone that wants to go for a walk at, such and such park. Or there's like, hey, here's a business success I had this week. I wanted to share it with you guys. Or there's, so there's all these message boards, and it's dependent on them on how much interaction. I don't have to do anything as, the founder.
Yeah.
So I really like that it is member led, and they can do as much or as little as they want with it. And then whenever I do host an event, I post it in the board in there. They get to know first if it's a ticketed event because I give them first access to buy tickets before they go on sale to the public. Yeah. So, but it's not dependent on me organizing something every month or anything like that. So,
Yeah, that's awesome to
yeah.
have. And then the power kind of comes back to them and they
Yeah.
have to elevate in their leadership in different ways.
And then I'll have some pop up, like smaller events throughout the year. Like I did two this year. I don't know if I'll do another one. I kind of just do it on a whim, like what I feel like. But I called them proximity hours. And they're much smaller. I really wanted to get out of, like at first I used to call them social hours, but I'm like, that sounds very like a happy hour kind of thing. And so I wanted this to be really in alignment with what it was. And it's about a small group of women, anywhere from 20 to 40 women that come together and to be in proximity with each other. The
Mm.
last one I had was called Wigs and Wine, and we all had to wear wigs.
Oh,
And so like I had a hot pink bob on that I wore, whatever. That was so fun to see these women that I've seen in other ways, but everyone came with these like super fun wigs on, and it was just
good
like the best time.
idea.
Yeah.
I love that. So
And
much
we just got to
fun.
have fun and talk, and that wasn't networking. We were just being in proximity with other women that just wanted to have fun.
Yeah. Oh, I love talking to you because it also reminds me of how the good things are sometimes the simple things. And we don't have to overcomplicate or over minutia everything.
Make it fun. It's kind of, as adults and as high achieving women, which I find, a lot of the women that I attract
Yeah.
are, right? We're moms, we're business owners, we're doing, all these different things. And it's sometimes hard to remember to have fun.
Yeah.
And what does that feel like? And that's what I really liked about the Wine and Wigs event. I've never done anything like that, but I was just like, that just looks really fun. And I literally got the idea off of a TikTok reel where I saw these other girls do it, and they were giggling and laughing at each other so much, seeing each other in wigs. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like the best time.
Such a good idea. I love it. Okay. I have a couple of just fill in the blanks for you. So,
Okay.
Mandy, the one thing that you wish women knew about themselves is
How much stronger they really are. So I'll leave it at that. It
okay.
means more beyond physical. I think women are physically stronger than they really give themselves credit for. But just mentally and emotionally, I just think strength is like that's always my one word, like strength. Just
Yeah.
we don't know how strong we really are.
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
And then the other one that I have for you, it's very simple, but it's just leadership is.
Leadership is love. So I feel like by leading people, it is a form of loving people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I've never heard it said that way. That is really powerful. I'm so glad I
Okay.
asked you those.
Thanks. Yeah, I've never answered that one before.
That's a really good. That needs to go on a t-shirt. Okay, so as a closing tradition on this podcast, I ask whoever I'm interviewing to leave like a reflection or something they feel called to share for the next guest, not knowing who it is. So what I'd like to do is share what was left for you and then give
Okay.
you the opportunity to do the same.
Okay.
So the last guest shared, she said, put the food in the oven before it's preheated. And the context around that is she said, I think this is really important. It's basically about taking action before the conditions are perfect, not waiting getting that feedback, getting the learnings as fast as possible. Because if you're waiting till the conditions are perfect, other people are going to be going for it.
Mm-hmm. I love that because I definitely relate to that. Like you do it messy. You just do it without knowing. Gosh, this is a hard one.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be, perfect. It can just be something you feel called to share today or what have you.
Well, proximity is more about it's not the numbers. It's not how many people that you're close to. It's about who you're close to. And
Mm.
so I would leave people with find who it is that you want to become and find those people to get into proximity with, whether it's one person, it doesn't have to be 10.
Mm.
But find that person and they will welcome you because they will be just so thrilled to be in your proximity as well, right? And then that will give you the opportunity to be that proximity person for the next person who's wanting to like kind of come up. So really just find who it is that you are wanting to grow and be and put yourself in proximity with that room, those people, whoever that is.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that because it is so true. And I feel so grateful and privileged today to get to be in proximity with you
Thank you.
and the gift that you are giving to me, but then also to so many women, and really just out of this deeper calling or something that is just pulling you forward because of the love that you have. We'll refer to that
Yeah.
definition that you have of
Yeah.
leadership, that I was like, that is how you are leading.
Mhm.
And I think that that is so inspiring for the next generation, for this generation to witness. So thank you so much for being here today. It's been
Thank you,
amazing.
Valerie. I loved it.
Thank you for tuning into the show today. And before you go, I just have one quick favor to ask of you. There is a really simple way that you can help support me and help support this show, and that is to hit that follow button on whatever app you're listening to the show on. I'm trying really hard to level up the content and deliver unique value and amazing guests, and just hitting that follow button is the magic that will help continue to empower that. And remember that the world deserves to hear your voice and your stories, and you deserve a place at the top.